Hi, my name is Gina Odierno. I'm a student deacon here and a graduate student at the School of Drama. Welcome to my nightmare, public speaking. I know what you must be thinking, School of Drama? I work backstage, so it's okay. But standing here in front of a group of people, no matter how well loved, is terrifying to me. If you don't know, there's actually no oxygen right here, and I know that my science friends are going to disagree and say that that's not actually possible, but air does not get into my lungs when I'm here, so it's possible that there's no oxygen. The leadership of this church has been so fantastic also about saying, if you don't want to read this thing or if you don't want to speak, it's okay. And I'm sure they were really surprised. I'm like, no, let me speak, because I freak out, and then I get big hands because I'm Italian. But I don't know why it is that I freak out about public speaking. It has nothing to do with maintaining some picture of perfection that I can't live up to, because that ship has sailed. I have stumbled over every word in the dictionary. I have announced that a prayer is to be read together in the middle of the prayer. I have done it all. So it's not really about that, those notable blunders. I've even introduced myself as, hi, I'm Gina, I'm whatever, as Rob reminds me from my first year. So no, it is not about, I didn't want to cry, by the way, so I'm trying to be funny. But and I put parenthetical citations inside my sentences. Okay, so, and I think it's important actually to know your boundaries, but and you might ask yourself, so if this is a boundary, public speaking is a boundary for me, I can't even look up at the audience in front of me. Why am I speaking in front of this audience? And it's simple, actually, is that boundaries for me aren't the place where I find it and say, okay, I can sit inside here. Because if I did that, I would be in a goldfish bowl. There are a lot of boundaries. We all have these little itty-bitty hang-ups that if we tried to serve them all, we would get nowhere. We would be Free Willy with the droopy little fin on the top, And I'm not contented for that. I want to see what's in the ocean, So here I am speaking in front of you guys. I have to ask myself, what could go wrong? It's not like some life-alteringly bad thing is going to happen because I'm up here speaking. Me, this awkward, clumsy me. I'm just here, I'm just doing it, it happens, I'm speaking, it's great. And that's one of the many reasons why I love the University Church, is it's a safe place to kind of press those boundaries. Talking to people is really difficult to me. Also, I'm in theater, weird, I know. But coffee hour is one of the most terrifying places in this church to me. Even the little catacombs downstairs cannot, match that. But, so let me get back to my script. So, what I try to do is find those boundaries, but instead of hitting against them, reach out and explore further. Find what it is that's that weird little gritty place that I found. And, it's enabled me to have these great relationships and friendships and conversations and meals and, service projects. And, if I, just serve that horribly awkward feeling of, oh no, if I talk to these people, then they're gonna know I'm weird. You know I'm weird, I'm always here. You know that I'm weird. So, but I wouldn't have these experiences. Out on the green, I would not talk to those neighbors of mine who are, experiencing homelessness. I wouldn't have talked to the gentleman at Abraham's tent. These are experiences that have enriched me, and if I fed that little place, then I wouldn't be anywhere. So, no Free Willy mode for me. But I don't think that this exploration of boundaries or what's beyond them really ends with speaking in front of a crowd or even with how I relate to the world. I think it extends into my faith. Last year, I read a book by Rob Bell called Velvet Elvis, Repainting of the Christian Faith. And Velvet Elvis, right? And it fits up there with my happy, hippy-dippy version of Christianity, because that's how I fit in the world. And I don't really know how to explain myself because I'm a used-to-be Catholic. What is that, All I knew about Protestant before I came here was they ended Shakespearean theater. So I had a little 400 years of lack of knowledge, which Ian has thankfully caught me up on. If all you knew about Catholics was the Inquisition, that'd be bad too. So, But what he says in here, he talks about jumping on a trampoline with his sons. And I don't know if any of you guys have had the great pleasure of jumping on a trampoline, but it is fantastic. And it is impossible. It's this like stretchy little fabric, and you got little springs all around, and you like fly higher than you could ever do under your own power. And it's impossible, really. Like, you're flying, you're a human and you're flying. And what he says about these idea is it's not, your faith can be like a trampoline. He says, in fact, it's the stretch and the flex that makes it so effective. It's firmly attached to the frame and the mat, yet you have room to move. It has brought a fuller, deeper, richer understanding to the mysterious being who is God. He says these springs, they're not, fixed. The springs are our ideas and what we think about faith. The spring isn't God, it's just how we understand God in our world. So you could take it out, you can stretch it, expand it, and put it in. And that's one thing that's so great about this church, is that we can take a little element out, look at it and explore it and say, ooh, we just called God her. I got a little weirded out. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's for someone, and maybe it's not for me, but it's okay, because this space you can stretch and you can grow and you can try things, because we're ecumenical and we sing in Pakistan. I don't even know what some of those words are. Thank God for the little translation at the bottom. I would sing it anyways because I'm game, but that's what you have to do. So I think what I would say kind of in closing is I am now off to oblivion. I am a freelance stage manager. I work in the arts. I have 2 months of work at $150 a week. If you do the math, that is not a New York apartment. But, I have spent 3 years stretching and growing and finding these boundaries and expanding. And what I would like to challenge this community that I so love and that I have so enjoyed for these 3 years is not to be fearless, because that is not possible. You are going to have fear. What I ask you to do is to be courageous in the face of that fear. So whether that fear is, ooh, we just said God was a girl, or, oh no, I have to make bread and I have never made bread before. Whatever it is, just do it, just try. Don't be held back by fear. Embrace the fear, it's there, you can't do anything about it, but then, get out of your way and just live. So that's what I had to say, a lot faster than I practiced. So thank you very much, bye.
One of my favorite things about these reflections is always how much they truly do reflect the person who's speaking. So certainly mine will be very different and a little more serious than Gina's. Thank you all for the opportunity to speak today about my time at Yale and here at the University Church. I really can hardly believe that it's my turn to speak for graduation, but here we go. A little about me first. I've been here at Yale for about 4.5 years, studying in the chemistry department, and last week I turned in my dissertation. That's the end of chemistry for now. Luckily, I've also been a part of this community for more than half of that time. And with my address, I want to tell you how I came to be here, what I love about this place, and maybe a few words of advice, if you can call it that. And I should say, I wanted to specifically say this is not goodbye, because I'm not ready for goodbye. Certainly, I'll be around until I leave on May 23rd, but we can leave goodbye for another day. So before I came to Yale, I think it would be fair to say that I had lost my faith. Lost my faith in worship, lost my faith in church, lost my faith in faith. But soon after being at Yale for a year or so, it was clear that I was just lost. Then my friend Dan Eiler and I were talking about the University Church one evening when I saw one of these on his kitchen cabinet in 2009. And after coming here and getting involved little by little, I eventually joined the Deacons and have had the great privilege of helping to lead this place, which is complex and beautiful. Just look at our mission statement. Today's Jeremiah reading seemed especially fitting for me for this occasion. My favorite line says, "No longer shall they teach one another or say to each other, 'Know the Lord,' for they shall all know me." No longer teach. That's right. No need to pass on information in weak human forms, it seems, since the new covenant with God was written on their hearts. As an academic, and now being amongst academics, this idea shocked me a little bit when I read it earlier this week. How amazing to know something without needing to be taught, and for it to be about something as profound as the divine. But then I thought about my personal faith journey. As I mentioned a moment ago, when I arrived here at the University Church, even though I had grown up as a person of faith, I was spiritually lost. There could be no greater difference between the person that I was then and the person that I am now. And I realized as I pondered those lines from Jeremiah that the way things changed for me was in no small part by coming here to Battell. Of course, I'm thankful for this beautiful space and our wonderful university, which has the foresight and wisdom to let us take part in this great experiment of an ecumenical Christian community in the midst of Yale. Moreover, the words we speak in this place have been a great comfort to me. But more than either words or walls, it is all of you, my friends, mentors, and colleagues in the audience here that have made my faith and life over the past few years. How do I know the Lord these days? It is through all of you. Through all your good works at Columbus House and all around New Haven, through the robust discussions amongst deacons about how to use our limited offerings to do these important works around New Haven and the world, through a sly smile thrown in someone's direction casually during worship, through our rowdy conversation before, after, and sometimes during worship, through our traditions, our closing words from Micah, our ever-varying prayers before communion, and even though it's a small thing, the exhortation that we hear each Sunday, as we did today, to participate in whatever way you feel comfortable. And I know the Lord through your kindness to me. I shall miss all of you in this community so very much, it is without words to be expressed. I leave knowing the face of the divine and with the warmth and courage that each of you have taught me. My journey and all of yours will surely bring us together again one day, and will tell stories of the wonderful things we've done after Battell, and of course stories about what we did here together. Thank you all so much. I am humbled and blessed to have shared this space with you. And in closing, I wanted to read a quote from Lucretius, which I've been finding inspirational since I was working on my dissertation. But those watchful sentinels, sun and moon, traveling with their light around the great revolving region of heaven, have taught men well that the seasons of the year come round, and that all is done on a fixed plan and in fixed order. If things sometimes feel as if there's a fixed plan and a fixed order, it must be partially due to the reassurance of knowing our Lord and each of you. Whatever life throws at me, I will take reassurance about the path forward from my experiences in this place, and I hope that you can and will do the same.
If we trust him, no matter what path we're on, I truly believe that God will tell us that there is a good path there, and we are always on it. Sometimes I'm tempted to disobey the last part, the command to walk, out of a fear of doing anything at all. I love new notebooks. It always pains me to write the first line. But notebooks are meant to be used, and life is meant to be lived. So now when I get something new, the first thing I do is scratch it. I tear a page, I dirty it up a bit. It reassures me that there is a good path through imperfection. There is a future in every direction. All of us are on a right path, just because it's the path that we're on, and so it's the one that God is on as well. So we should walk in it. Because God doesn't meet us where we are, God already is where we are. And when that voice of reassurance is hard to hear, let us be that voice for each other. Let us learn to love each other so that we can learn how to be loved. So as I, and we all really, prepared to go out and make it all up as we go along, I want to leave this beautiful verse with you so that you all may know that you're okay, that what we have to offer is acceptable, that you have a brilliant future to look forward to. So remember, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it."